Hi everyone, thank you for watching this video. The purpose of this recording is to give parents and students in grade 10 an overview of the Mulgrave course planning and selection process, as well as of the university and careers implications of course selection for grade 11 and 12. So the course planning process has effectively begun already in grade 10 with some initial university and careers counsellor meetings that started in November and that will continue until January. We in a few days, we will have our parent and student workshop, during which we will discuss the content of this video. And in December, before the winter break, we will also have a student introduction session. As every year, we will host a course fair in January. This will be a great opportunity for grade 10 students to not only meet the teachers who teach grade 11 and 12 courses, many of whom they will know already from their grade 10 experience, but also to ask any questions they might have about the content, structure, and assessment methods and class ethos for those courses. Between January and March, students will not only continue discussing ideas and ambitions and views about course selection with their advisors. They will also have individual meetings with their parents, a university and careers counsellor, and either myself or the senior school vice principals or the enriched pathway coordinator, Ms. Wall. So they will have one-to-one interviews and meetings to really finalize their initial course selection. The course selection forms are then submitted by the beginning of March.
Students at Mulgrave have the opportunity to follow two pathways to graduation. The first is by completing the full IB diploma, and at the end of the 2 years, students will be awarded both the IB diploma and the BC Dogwood diploma. Other students may find that the full IB diploma is not the best choice for them. It may be that they're a high-performing athlete or high-achieving artist, or that they're language exempt. These students opt to take an enriched pathway. And then for this, they take courses for IB credit and provincial credit and are awarded the BC Dogwood diploma.
So now this slide gives an overview, a very visual overview of the structure and expectations associated with the IB diploma program. The second circle highlights the various group areas, studies in language and literature, including English literature and English language and literature, as well as Chinese A language and literature. Individuals and societies, including all the subjects that students normally refer to as social, so economics, philosophy, geography, and history. Then mathematics, for which we offer two different courses, applications and analysis, applications at SL only and analysis both at higher level and standard level. Then the arts, within which we offer, of course, music, film, theatre and visual arts. The sciences, including physics, chemistry, biology and ESS at Mulgrave. And then the language acquisition area, where we offer Spanish ab initio as well as French and Mandarin B. It is very important that students remember that they are expected to take one subject per area. So students cannot, for example, study two subjects in the individuals and societies or socials area. They need to take one per area. The only exception to this rule is really dictated by university requirements, and it occurs when students who want to study applied sciences, typically or engineering at university, both in North America and especially in Europe, may be required by those universities to study two sciences, in which case they will be allowed to replace one art subject with a second science. However, this is very much the only exception that we consider in light of many different considerations. The first is that the strength of the diploma program really lies in the fact that it is a liberal arts course, or program rather, that exposes students to many different ways of understanding and tackling problems. And this liberal arts approach we very much want to preserve. The second reason is very strategic, and it has to do with what universities really value. Even very specialized universities such as MIT consistently report that the advantages of a liberal arts education are absolutely superior to the advantages of a more specialized approach, precisely because a liberal arts education, including the arts as well as the sciences and math and all the other areas of studies, really allows students to think in a way that is cross-disciplinary and focused on problem solving and using many different methodologies and perspectives.
So the full diploma requires the students to take 6 subjects which are taken over 2 years. 3 of these are going to be at the higher level, which goes into first year university level, and 3 are going to be at the standard level, which for most courses is similar to the BC Ministry requirements. As was said, the students will take TOK, an extended essay, and they have creativity, activity and service CAS. The students will also have a career education character ed education, which will look at careers and all sorts of other topics throughout the year.
For the enriched pathway, students select a minimum of 5 subjects per year, and at least one of these should be for IB credit. These courses can be taken at either the standard or the high level and can include provincial courses taken from online providers. The students also take theory of knowledge at grade 11 and can continue this on to grade 12. They take an extended essay, either for IB credit or and for an adapted version. All students take CAS, and all students take character education, which also provides Career Life Connections, which is a BC Ministry course that they have to take for graduation credit.
So with regards to students selecting the courses, they should be looking at the ones that are going to provide them with appropriate challenge but not unnecessary stress. So students are going to have some stress throughout the programme, and that will vary throughout the years, but we want to make sure that that stress is manageable for students. We really advise the students to play to their strengths. Students who are the most successful in the diploma programme are students who choose courses that are linked to their interest and their strengths, rather than what their friends or maybe even their parents think. So we also want to look at the holistic experience and not be strategic saying this one will get me a higher mark. We really want to look at the balance of the courses across the 6 subjects. Students also need to think about teacher guidance. So which course does a teacher recommend, especially in math and math analysis and math applications, which is going to be the most appropriate? Does a teacher think that you will be strong in doing music, or are you able to do French high level? So teacher recommendations are going to take a strong point within this. Also, students need to think about the university requirements. This is put at the bottom because it's not the first point in guiding the conversation, but university requirements do need to be considered when taking course selections. So with regards to the courses that the students are taking, they are going to choose one from each of the 6 groups. So in English, we have 2 options. We have English literature and we have English language and literature. Both of these are available at the higher level and the standard level. For a second language, we have students who take French, high level and standard level. We have Mandarin at high level and Spanish level. And we have students who continue from Spanish 10 into Spanish 11 and 12, Spanish ab initio, so the introduction beginners level Spanish. We also have some students who are able, instead of taking a second language, take a second first language. So we have some students who continue on with Chinese A, language and literature, which we offer both at the higher level and standard level. And we also have some students who take a different first language, for example, Persian, where students are able to study this partly on their own with the support of a tutor, but also with the support of a teacher at school. That's an English teacher and this course is only available at literature SL level. And to be able to do this course, students need to be able to study that particular language, not only speak it, but study the literature of it and be able to do that literature analysis. And that's what's called a school-supported self-taught course. In the individuals and societies, we have 4 main options: economics, history, geography, and philosophy, all at the higher level and the standard level. Environmental systems and societies is also considered a Group 3 course, but it can also be a Group 4 course. This is only available at the standard level. And every year we have a few students who decide to take maybe psychology or business management, which is offered through an online provider called Pomoja, which is has IB teachers, and that's another option for some students. It has to be said that economics, history, geography, and philosophy all meet the graduation requirements for a Socials 11 or 12 course. ESS and the psychology, business management do not meet that requirement, and these students would have to take another provincial 11 course or 12 course through summer school or online to meet those graduation requirements. In the sciences, we have 3 main sciences, all at the high level and standard level: biology, chemistry, and physics. And then we have the environmental systems and societies, which is available at the standard level. In math, we have math analysis at the high level and standard level. To be able to do math analysis at the high level, students should be studying Math Extended this year, but Math Extended students can also go into the Math Analysis SL. The math analysis is aimed at students who are looking at going into sciences, engineering, and business at university. Math Applications SL is for students who do not have the mathematical requirements for university applications. Might be students who are going into the arts, and it looks at math that is less abstract, so there's less calculus in there. There might be more statistical work, so it's a different type of mathematics that is covered. In the arts, we have four offerings. We have film, music, theatre, and visual art, all at the high level and standard level. So the students will pick one from every single group. Now, there are sometimes university requirements that require a student to, say, for example, going into sciences, require a student to do 2 sciences. So a student will drop one of the arts and pick up a second science from the group 4.
Taking a Group 6 subject doesn't necessarily mean you are heading into a fine arts field. We believe that Group 6 is meant... Oh, man. Okay.
Let's take it again.
Okay. Taking a Group 6 subject doesn't necessarily mean a student is heading into a fine arts field. We believe that Group 6 is essential to mental health, well-being, and balance in the DP. Group 6 subjects give students an outlet to express themselves, explore self-identity, and have a creative outlet to manage stress. Students currently in Group 6 courses speak of feeling more grounded and connected in their days. They also speak of being empowered by choice in Group 6 subjects and empowered by the ownership of their creations.
In today's ever-changing world, the arts are consistently identified as a common language that connect people. All of the art courses offered at Mulgrave focus on an appreciation of art from multiple cultures, self-expression, and the practical skills of creation. Art courses are skill-based courses, and their focus is in the creative problem-solving, collaboration, communication, taking risks, and building resilience. The authentic learning that happens in these courses goes well beyond the subject matter and really seeks to develop students' understanding of themselves and others.
Here are a few possible scenarios of students who are taking either the full diploma or the enriched pathway. So if a student is looking at going into engineering, we quite often see them doing physics high level, math analysis high level, and then some students might do chemistry or geography or a different subject for the high level. But it's looking at quite often the physics and the mathematics at the high level. Students who are going into the arts might decide to do the English and the philosophy and film studies at the high level, and some other courses, Spanish, biology at the lower level. For students who are looking at going into the fine arts, so another thing that can happen, because ESS covers the requirements for both a Group 3 and Group 4, a student could do ESS and then actually pick up a second art subject, an art course. So a student going into the fine arts has been able to choose English at the high level, music at the high level, and theatre at the high level. And French, ESS, and math applications all at the standard level. Because the student has chosen ESS for the socials course, they will need to take a BC Ministry Socials 11 course, usually online through the summer break as a summer school programme. Students who are looking at maybe going into medicine, high level, we're looking at biology and chemistry in there, and then there's flexibility with the other courses. With students who are going onto the enriched pathway, whole variety of different courses. So you can see for a student going into the fine arts, they decided to do both the film and visual art at the high level and take those for IB credit. And then to meet the ministry requirements, they are going to do a Law 12 course online. But to help them do that in grade 12, they're going to do just French in grade 11. So when you're doing the enriched pathway, students do not need to do courses that they're doing for provincial credit for the full 2 years. They can do some courses for just 1 year. Looking at another student who's going into the arts and did music at the high level, this particular student was able to do work experience and did a social justice course, ministry credit courses online. So there are a variety of different programs that the students can do. Any of the courses that are taken at school are all IB courses, follow the IB curriculum, but if they're not being done for ministry credit, so if they're not being done for IB credit, the teacher will be setting their assessments. And finally, our last scenario is a student who's following the enriched pathway, but still going into the sciences. They're doing biology and geography at the high level. They've decided to do chemistry at school, but to pick up an extra science, they did physics as a summer school. They did TOK just in grade 11, and then picked up the English and the math as well.
It is important that students make decisions which are as well informed as possible and which are the best choices for them as individuals. Strengths, passions, and post-secondary intentions should be considered along with an informed understanding of the course. Students are encouraged to engage with subject teachers to ensure that the key skills, topics, and assessment styles are fully understood for every course being considered. It is important that choices are not based on assumptions and that students understand the makeup of the courses they are choosing. Please click on the links shown here in order to access the Senior School Resources page with links to handbooks and help sessions, as well as the Programme of Study document with extensive information on course selection for grades 11 and 12. Each grade 10 student will be invited to a course selection meeting in the new year. In preparation for this, it is important that students engage in course selection discussions with parents and teachers and that they complete the course selection Google form in advance of the meeting.
On the website, on the Mulgrave website, we have lots of resources that are available to the students and to yourselves as parents to have a look at the resources. So we have a programme of studies. We're just in the process of finalising that, so that will be available to you. We have a CAS guide, we have an eFolio guide. So there's lots of resources and a question and answer fact section on the school website to support you if you have any questions.
Okay, so now for university implications. Again, this video only provides a very general overview of the university implications of course selection. A much more detailed discussion will occur in either one-to-one meetings with university and career counselors or the course selection meeting that we will have with every student and family in February and March. But just to give you a general sort of outline of the university planning process, it really begins in grade 9 with initial meetings that have happened between the university and careers counselors and the students, thinking about possible interests and ambitions and, exploring possible career routes. In grade 10, this research and discussion very much continues, and students who are considering the United States as an option for post-secondary should really consider preparing for SATs or ACTs in grade 10. We also recommend that in grade 10, students start sort of looking around and maybe attending, whenever possible, events related to their areas of interest, university fairs, open houses, etc. In grade 11, the research continues, but unavoidably it becomes gradually becomes much more focused. We do encourage students to attend either virtually or in person as many university fairs, and especially the university visits and workshops that Mulgrave organizes in liaison with university admissions officers around the world. It is also very important that in grade 11, students try to meet with their counselors as regularly as possible. And that in the spring, they attend the annual university and career counseling's presentation to review the application timelines and to plan ahead. We also recommend that in grade 11 already, students start their university application essays, in particular if they intend to apply to the United States. You may be aware of the fact that USA applications are typically a very time-consuming process, and if applicable, students can already start asking towards the end of grade 11 for recommendation letters, so asking their teachers for recommendation letters. It is expected that students who are applying to the United States to schools that require SATs have completed their SATs or ACT standardized testing by the end of grade 11. We really do not recommend that that SAT or ACT test taking goes into grade 12 for reasons to do with internal deadlines and planning and ultimately with student well-being. So finally, in grade 12. Grade 12 is the big application year. So students begin grade 12 and they continue working on their applications. The deadlines vary depending on the kind of application and on the universities to which students are applying. It's typically mid-October for Oxbridge and medicine, direct entry into medicine in the UK. It is mid-October also for some USA early applications, but really late October for most early applications in the US, and early December for all other university applications. It is very, very important during this year, especially during the first term of grade 12, that students keep on top of their reference letters requests to teachers. Teachers do need at least 2 or 3 weeks warning in order to write these letters, and students are the ones who are expected to ask and provide all the documentation well in advance. Of course, whenever possible, we also always recommend that students tour their universities of choice, and we continue to support them even after they have applied, should they wish, for example, to also apply for scholarships. Now, some really useful resources for university planning can be found both on our parent portal. You can see the link on this slide. There's a lot of information there about university visits, summer programs, SAT and ACT prep classes, etc., but also on Naviance, which again is linked from this website and that will become a very familiar site for all our parents and students.